you have any questions throughout the presentation, I'll go ahead and give you a minute. I saw the notice for recording just popped up. So if you have any questions throughout the presentation, go ahead and utilize that chat function. That's going to be on the bottom of your screen. You can click it. You can address your questions to everybody. If it's more of you think specific that you just want to address one of the advisors or team members here today, you can make that selection as well. And we'll take the time throughout the presentation to stop and make sure we address those questions. And so what you can expect after the presentation is an advisor will be following up with you via email within the next week. So make sure that you are following your Toro email accounts for that notification. And it's also been presented, if you prefer to have a Zoom or phone appointment with those advisors, that you can contact that advisor who reaches out to you and make those arrangements. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to our presenters, Angelica and Admir, and we'll go ahead and get started on your presentation. Thank you.
Well, congratulations to all the graduates. It's a special year, isn't it? This is our new student orientation, and through the process of the orientation, we would want you to be able to register for classes. But I want you to get to know a little bit about our community college. It is a 2-year college. It's not very old. It was built in 1963, so it's about 56 years old, not very big. And this is our mascot, and who would want to guess what his name is? It's not Toro, it's not Matador. His name is Andale. How do you like that? Very good. We're going to go ahead and go to the next slide. This is our president, Dr. Daniel Kaur. He's been with Arizona Western for the last 4 years. He's brought fresh ideas to the college. We're doing lots of new things, and he would like to welcome you all.
Hi, I'm Daniel Kaur, the proud president of Arizona Western College, and welcome to Discover AWC. We are thrilled that you have made the decision to become a Matador. Here's my message to you. Take advantage of all that we have to serve you and facilitate your success. We've got remarkable faculty here at AWC who are concerned about your success. We also have advisors who will guide you through the process of registering for classes. And we have financial aid support and tutoring and all kinds of other support services. Take advantage of those services and get involved. Wonderful student life activities with activities on campus and off campus to make this an experience that you'll never forget. I'm thrilled that you're here. I'm thrilled that you're a Matador. And today, like all days, it is a great day to be a Matador.
That is his motto. It's a great day to be a Matador. It's good to have him. We have about 24 slides for the presentation. We're going to try to go as fast as we can. You were sent an email with a pre-evaluation, and we hope that you were able to provide us information as to what you know about Arizona Western College and about the registration process. And later on, for us to know how well we did in the presentation and things that we might need to change to make the presentation better, we would ask that you would do a post-evaluation, and that is from the advisement webpage. And we have a link just for orientation. On the circle there is the pre-eval, and then we would really appreciate if you would do the post-evaluation after the presentation. The agenda for today, we're going to cover the AWC majors, what are degrees, what are certificates, what do we mean when we say these are the general education requirements. We're also going through guided pathways, which is a new way of marketing our programs, and we call them pathways. We'll discuss a little bit what pathways mean versus a major. We won't have a lot of time to review your placement test scores, but we do offer some guidelines, and some of you don't have placement tests, and that's okay, because you will have the ability to self-reflect and self-assess your ability in mathematics and English and place yourself according to what you feel is best for you. We also will go through the sequencing of English and math courses so that you know that if you start in one math class, how long it's going to take you to finish according to your degree requirements. Another area that we're going to cover is, what would make you successful, what we believe and what has been shown that are strategies for success in order for you to graduate from Arizona Western College. And we will also like to do a presentation of how to choose your classes wisely and build a schedule. And last but not least is your resources, and the idea and the whole objective of this new student orientation is to prepare you so that you can register for classes. Amir.
So welcome again to everyone. We definitely know this is a unique scenario, having to do these orientations through Zoom. So we just want to give you some useful information, but we also don't want to bore you either. We know it can be challenging to sit through a presentation and get all this information at once. So definitely just ask your questions along the way, and hopefully you can find this whole experience useful. To start us off today, we do have a lot of high school grads, so just some of the differences that you're going to experience between high school and college. You're going to spend a lot more time in the classroom in high school compared to college. So at college, you're looking only around 12 to 15 hours a week in a classroom if you're full-time. So it's going to be a lot different to high school, where you're there for the majority of your day. So a lot more of your learning at college is going to be done at home, whereas at high school, you're doing your learning in the classroom. So a little bit more responsibility to be learning at home in college than you're used to. Also, you're an adult now, so your professors, they're going to leave a lot of this work, everything up to you. It's up to you to make these deadlines, these guidelines. No one's really going to be checking up on you, keeping tabs on you. So it's really your responsibility. You have no obligation to be there. You've made that decision on your own. So you just got to make sure you're doing the best you can, and you are an adult now, so you have that responsibility. So with college and university, there are some differences. So for example, Arizona Western compared to Arizona State or University of Arizona, we're a 2-year community college, so that's where we earn associate's degrees. At those in-state universities, you're looking at bachelor's degrees and higher at those institutions. And a lot of those universities, they have specific colleges. So they'll have a college of business, college of education, college of science. So there are a lot more branches within those universities, where we just have our college and have a bunch of different pathways in our college. So we have the higher education pyramid here, so you can kind of see how it all links together. So you have at the bottom your skill developmental courses. These are just to develop your skills, maybe get you prepared for college before you actually start enrolling in classes. And then you get to AWC, and that's where you're looking to obtain an associate's degree. So an associate's degree, 2 years, about 60+ credits. After that, if you're looking to transfer, keep going with your education, that's where you can obtain a bachelor's degree for another 2 years. And that's also going to be 60 credits on top of your associates. So you're looking at 120+ credits for your bachelor's degree. After that, if you still want to pursue some higher education, you have master degrees available to you, a lot of options there. And those are another maybe 2 years, 30 to 60 credits, depending on the area of study you're looking to complete. And then the very top of the pyramid, you have your doctorate degree. So that's going to be the highest level of education you can reach, a lot of real expertise there, a lot of knowledge they've gained and learned over the years, and they've applied that to the area of study. So all your professors at AWC will at least have a master's degree or higher. So you'll definitely be in good hands in all your classes. So what's your major? It's important to start thinking of a major. Even if you're undecided, that's fine. Maybe you can start thinking about what kind of job you want to get into, what interests you. And we have a lot of great resources on our website to start thinking about and use that'll link what suits you, maybe your personality, and line you up with different career options. So if you're undecided, definitely check out our website there. Just the link, pretty easy to get to from our advisement page. We have just a lot of different resources. We have personality tests. We have a lot of information about future job markets, that kind of thing. So if you're undecided, definitely take a look. You can learn a lot, and it can guide you kind of down a right path. And you definitely want something that's going to suit your personality. And at the end of the day, you want a job that makes you happy. So be a lot better for you to find a job you're really interested in and passionate about. So definitely use these resources if you're still undecided. And we do have a class as well, career exploration. If you're a little bit undecided, you can use this class, earn 2 credits. It's only an 8-week course, AWC 104, and they'll go really in depth about different career options, what majors are available, what kind of jobs you can get in the future. So it's a really great class. And we have other resources on campus for majors to help you decide. We have a majors fair every fall semester, and that will just have a bunch of different resources from different areas of study on campus, and you can obtain a lot of great useful information from the people who are teaching these courses and involved in these courses. So you can ask all your questions to those specific people, and they can give you some good feedback and knowledge.
This is a resource that we have for transfer students. aztransfer.com is specially designed for students who will be transferring to one of the 3 state universities, University of Arizona, Arizona State University, and also Northern Arizona University. It won't cover Grand Canyon University or any other private college that we have in the state, only public institutions. It is a great resource. If you wanted to know how a class would transfer to the university, you could log in, and they have tools for the course equivalency guide. Also, it does have the ability for you to see how your major transfers to the university. And many students will see the guide offered in AZ Transfer to just specifically look at what courses transfer into a major. So what they do, they put together a list of courses that would transfer to all 3 state universities for students to follow. Very quickly, 40% of the students in the nation start at a community college. So it's definitely not a real minority, but a large section of our population would start at a community college. 52% of our students transfer with 60 or more credit hours, and it's highly recommended that you finish a certificate with us or a degree with us, because it kind of helps you succeed also towards your bachelor's degree. And by the way, business is the #1 transfer degree, and many students do go for that. There's other popular degrees, but business is certainly at the top of the list.
So we have different areas of study which we call pathways. So if you are undecided, you can definitely use this as a tool. We kind of cluster together different pathways. So for example, if you maybe are interested in accounting, you'd follow the business and computer info pathway. If you're into maybe psychology, sociology, you'll start looking in that social behavioral science pathway. And the whole reasoning behind this is, if you are undecided and maybe you understand which kind of industry you want to get into, but you're not exactly sure of a specific major, you can get in on a pathway nice and early. And then if you maybe want to change from a certain pathway with a certain degree within your pathway, you're not really losing out on too many credits. So for example, if you're into science, you're into biology, you get into that science pathway. And then if you maybe don't like biology, but want to maybe get into chemistry, something like that, you're not losing out on too much. You're still within that same science pathway, and we can get you on the right path and ready to transfer and get you set up for your career that way. So pathways are definitely a good option to start thinking about. And if you do have a industry that you're interested in, it's good to get set up along that pathway. So this is kind of how our degrees and certificates break down. So we have our transfer degrees. So that's going to be your associate in arts, associate in science, and your associate in business. So these are all designed to transfer to the 4 in-state public universities. So yeah, after 2 years, get your associate's degree, your transfer degree, and then get transferring to a seamless transition for your bachelor's degree. Then we have your career and occupational degrees, associate in applied science. We call these the AAS degrees. These are designed to get you into the workforce right away after your 2 years. So if you're looking to gain an associate's that's going to have you ready for employment, that will be the direction you probably want to go in instead of a transfer degree. So a lot of your kind of more vocational degrees, your air conditioning, electrical, that kind of stuff is going to be your occupational degrees. So definitely less general education, more specific major courses. And then you have certificates. These are shorter programs, wide variety of credits in these, and they can update your existing skills and get you ready to maybe get a raise or just get you going on a different skill and upgrade. So there's a lot of certificates we have as well at AWC, and can help you out in the workforce as well. Certificates.
There are 4 types of degrees that would require a second application to be admitted to those degrees. The Public Safety Institute, which offers law enforcement, the Academy for Law Enforcement, the Fire Academy, and the paramedic, they would require a second application. So does the licensed massage therapy and the nursing program and the X-ray technology program. You can find those applications on their website. They do a very good job informing students through that website what steps they need to follow in order to apply for those programs. If you are following us in the booklet, because there's a booklet that we sent to you on the link when we were letting you know what to expect from the Zoom presentation. On that booklet on page 9, you will find more information on these special programs. Very good. This is a very important piece of the orientation and where to find your check sheet. The check sheet will have the requirements for your major. In this example, we see the business degree. It's an associate in business, is a transfer degree. The first part of it is required major courses. Then the second part of it is additional requirements for that degree. And then you will see the general education portion of the degree, which covers your English, your math, arts and humanities, social sciences, lab sciences, and additional general education requirements. Most degrees, as Admir was saying, will be 60 to 64 credit hours. Julissa, do you think you can take us to the azwestern.edu from the home site? And hopefully at the end of the presentation, you will, I highly recommend that if you have a printer that you would print it out, and so for your reference, sometimes students like to have that paper, information on paper rather than on the computer. But this is, we went to azwestern.edu and then we clicked on programs. We have separated the majors according to the pathways. And an example would be, And let's do education, that we can do the secondary education. This is an example of an AA degree, and the checklist, if you open that, and that's what we would recommend, that you could print it so you can have a copy of it. But notice that the top part is the required major courses for the degree. Then they have departmental requirements, and then the middle part of it is the general education curriculum. This one, we call it the HEC-A, but it has very specific courses in that particular major. You will see that some majors don't specify like what social sciences you need to take. They don't specify what additional general education requirements, so they don't really specify coursework. But the education program and other programs are very specific as to what arts, humanities, social sciences, lab sciences students must take. Julissa, can you take us to the nursing program? And if we go down to the check sheet, this is what we would require for the Associates of Applied Science in Nursing. It has prerequisites, and the prerequisites have prerequisites, by the way, and we'll explain that in your individual appointment. And there are some required major courses, and then the general education requirements, which is lesser for the AAS degrees. If you close that, Julissa, if we can show them a little bit of the Learn Details. When you do the Learn Details, some of our programs have a website, and the nursing program, the RAD programs, and other programs are pretty good about having a pretty solid website. Nursing is also a popular major at AWC. Thank you, Julissa. Admir?
Yeah, so you can kind of see how the differences break down. So with the transfer degrees on the left there, important term to get familiar with is the AGEC, so Arizona General Education courses. And these are, that block of 35 credits is going to be important for you to obtain once transferring. So all these institutions that we've talked about, NAU, U of A, Arizona State, they really want that AGEC to be completed. So going through some of these requirements, they do want 6 credits of English, which will be 101 or 102. They've added a 107 and 108 option as well this year. You'll need to complete Math 142 or above, and that might change depending on your degree. So science will have higher math requirements, business, different math requirements than a regular Associate of Arts. Then arts and humanities, you'll need 1 course each, so 6 credits there. Social behavioral, 2 courses, so 6 credits. Same with physical, biological science, 2 courses, it'll be 8 credits. That's where your lab sciences are. Additional courses, another 6 credits. And then you do have some awareness requirements. So that'll include some writing intensive courses, some cultural, historical, global courses, and we'll kind of go into how that looks a little bit here soon. And then just the differences between that and the applied science degrees. You're only going to need 21 credits of general education. So you can just kind of see there as the visual, the differences, pretty much just 1 of each compared to 2 courses for each general education requirement.
We've said that we are not doing placement tests. Some of you have and some of you don't. We can also use your ACT scores and SAT scores if you have them. But if you don't have a placement test, it's okay. You can self-assess. There are English 101 is usually the standard for college level classes, and that's where most of the students would love to start. However, if you feel that English 101 may be too difficult because your grammar is not quite there, You could start with an English 100 and also do a combo. You can finish your English 100 and 101 at the same time. But if your grammar is atrocious and you feel that you're going to need a lot of help with grammar, then we would probably recommend that you take the English 90. I'm going to go down to the mathematics. If you can just point, yes. We do see the math 71 there towards the math section. The math 71 is the most basic math, it's arithmetic. So this is math that would be covered in 8th grade, 7th, 8th grade. It has fractions and simple math. And some students do need that before going on to higher levels of mathematics. And then the next level is the math 81. And beginning algebra, it's like your algebra 1 in high school. The math 105 is for vocational programs. Be very careful about taking math 105. Look at your check sheet to make sure that if you need the math 105. The transfer degrees would require the algebra route. The math 81 is beginning algebra, so you would need the algebra route. I just want to make sure that if you don't need the math 105, not to take it. It's only for some vocational programs, and transfer degrees are not going to go through the math 105. We have the intermediate algebra. The intermediate algebra is that math between beginning algebra and the college algebra. If you did pretty well in algebra 2 in high school, but that's all you did, then the math 121 is probably a good start. Then we have the math 142, that's the college level math. And it is lots of word problems with the math 142 because it's statistics and it's also probability. It's like that math analysis class in high school. The college algebra is more like at the level of the pre-calculus and probably not as intense as your pre-calculus class in college. The math 150 is for those students who are okay with mathematics, but they need that extra support. The class is longer in every time they meet, so it's longer, and they also have additional support such as tutoring and supplemental instruction. The college algebra is the math 151. And then we have the math 187, which is pre-calculus. If you are an engineering major and not ready to start with the calculus 1, then the math 187 is probably a good start for you if you took pre-calculus at the high school. I see that this group is very quiet. No chat, no chats. Feel free to write your questions. We're pretty good about answering those. We do have in the booklet this sequencing of courses on page 11 and 12 of your handbook so that you can understand how the sequencing works for English and for mathematics. Do you want to add anything, Admir?
No, I would just use that handbook to kind of see your pathway, to see which kind of math and you need to kind of follow, so you can just get along that path, because it is important here just following these sequences for certain degrees. So depending on what you feel comfortable with, if you need a refresher, if you are confident in your math, it's good to just get familiar with the sequencing just so you can see, so you don't have to waste time or get into a wrong math class and do extra work. So that's a good useful tool in your resources to look over.
Thank you, Amir. And yeah, what Julissa was showing is the sequencing of the courses on that handbook. The Yuma Promise is a new thing. It is a benefit to our brand new high school graduates. So starting this year in 2020, high school graduates who have finished from a Yuma high school are eligible to take advantage of the Yuma Promise. What can you do to start receiving the benefit of the Yuma Promise? They would want you to complete FAFSA, which is a free application if you haven't done that. It doesn't take too long to complete. It's about 45 minutes to do so. And then you will need to sign up for a student commitment form. And that can be found under the Yuma Promise page that we have on our home site. Or just, just search it on the home site, the Yuma Promise, and it will come up with all the steps that you would need to do in order to sign up for the Yuma Promise. We would want you to be at least 12 credit hours per semester or 25 credit hours a year. And we would want you to complete a transfer degree in 5 semesters. And so if you took 6 semesters to complete that degree, you will forfeit the Yuma Promise benefit. We would also like you to transfer to one of the Yuma sites for a university. We do have ASU Yuma, we have U of A Yuma, and NAU Yuma. And you can also do transfer to an online program within ASU, U of A, or NAU. And what happens is that once you finish your degree with Arizona Western, we will review how long it took you to finish, and if you are transferring to one of the universities we just mentioned. You will get a refund for tuition, but not for books. So it's still a pretty good deal for those of you who are, who are willing to go through the state universities locally and online. Speaking about the universities and the degrees that we have in Yuma, the University of Arizona has done a real good job in bringing programs. They specialize quite a bit in family studies, engineering, systems engineering particularly, and they bring some more stuff every year, such as the food safety programs. The agricultural programs are also very popular with the U of A. Some of these programs will also be online. The counselors and advisors there, they do a wonderful job recruiting students and making sure that students do finish their degrees. ASU has brought new programs to the city. Secondary education is popular, so if you wanted to teach in the high schools, it's new. ASU is very good with their education programs. They also have a criminal justice program and the special education program where you can be dually certified to teach in the elementary education, but also in special ed, all the way from kindergarten to high school. NAU has been here for about 30 years, so they do have quite a bit of programs that we offer. Check them out. And all of these programs have a presence here in Yuma, and the advisors are there to assist you. We recommend that you start seeing them even in your first or second semester at AWC. Amir.
Yeah, so financial aid. Hopefully everyone's done a financial aid application, see if you qualify. It's challenging times for everyone at the moment with the virus, so definitely try apply and see what you can qualify for. And it does take some time to get in all your documents. There's a lot of tax returns you need to get in, some verification forms, and just a lot of paperwork. So definitely be proactive with all your paperwork and try to get it all turned in as soon as you can, so then when the semester does come, you're all set up with your financial aid. You don't need to worry about any missing documents, and it can really put your mind at ease. So once you qualify, once you've taken care of all of that processing, there are some requirements to keep your financial aid. So financial aid will only pay for classes that you're involved in your area of study. So for example, we showed you a business degree check sheet earlier on one of the slides. So if you're receiving financial aid and you're a business major, you would need to take classes within that check sheet. So financial aid doesn't pay for classes that aren't towards your major. So you can't just take a completely different class just for your personal knowledge, for fun. You need to really stay on track and take classes in your area of study. Once you're doing that, financial aid needs you to pretty much keep some good grades. So we do need to keep a 2.0 cumulative GPA or above. So that's just going to be C's or better, and it's going to be your entire coursework from your first semester to your last semester. So it's definitely good to start off strong, be successful, and protect that GPA. So really try to keep that 2.0 or above. And then we have a completion rate to also consider. So you need to have a completion rate of 75% at least. So, you know, it gives you a little bit of wiggle room if you know, unfortunately do fail a class, or if you have to withdraw from a class. So if you're taking 12 credits or 3 credit classes, and maybe you have to withdraw from one, or you fail one, and you pass 9 of those 12, that's still 75%. You'll be keeping your financial aid as long as your GPA is above a 2.0 and that completion rate 75%. So definitely try your best not to be failing, not to be withdrawing, because I would definitely want you keeping that financial aid and having that assistance. So just definitely some academic progress standards to keep in mind. And you know, things you definitely want to avoid is withdrawing from all of your classes. If you receive financial aid, sign up, get a disbursement check or something, and then you suddenly think, I'm just going to withdraw from all my classes and pocket the money. It doesn't work that way. You'll be sent to collections. They'll be asking for a refund. So some people sometimes think they can, you know, scam the system, and the financial aid knows how to sniff those people out. So definitely can't be doing any of that. You know, that money's there for you to be successful and obtain your degree. You know, you want to be avoiding no-shows and Fs. If you fail all your classes as well, you know, they could be looking to get that money back. So yeah, just keep doing well in your classes, keep studying, and you know, try to keep those standards. There is an 80 credit maximum. So like we talked about, most of your degrees are going to be 64 credits. And it gives you a little bit of leeway there, just for a bit of a buffer in case you do need a little bit more time to obtain your degree. It gives you that 80 credit maximum. So there's some different scenarios. For example, radiology requires a little bit more credits than 80, and there's some paperwork you can do to keep your financial aid. But 80 credits they're paying for, so that should be plenty of time to get your degree and get you graduating. So definitely just keep these requirements in mind, these standards, just so you can keep your financial aid, be successful. You don't want to be falling below these standards and then fighting with the financial aid office, doing appeals and all sorts to try to get your financial aid back. So try to keep these standards, keep it smooth sailing, and earn your financial aid. So we have some terminology here that it's good to become familiar with so you can understand, or we've kind of touched on some of these things already. So credit hour, basically every credit hour is going to be how much time you're spending in the classroom. So most of our classes are three credits, and some of our sciences and math courses where a little bit more time in the classroom are going to be 4 credits. So 3 or 4 credit classes for a credit hour. You have your dropping versus withdrawing. So this is quite important. We just talked about withdrawing with financial aid and dropping. So dropping is going to be, you signed up for a class in the fall. Usually you only have a week, but this time around with the virus and everything, you're going to have a bit of time, 2 weeks, to register for a class. You can show up to class. You can do these assignments online. You have a 2-week window where you can drop and add classes. So for example, if that class wasn't something you thought it was going to be, you don't think you're going to benefit from that class, you can drop that course. No harm, no foul. You don't have to pay for that course. It's like you were never in that class. The seat opens up for someone else. Now, after that 2-week window, now you've taken that seat in that class, you're officially in the class for the rest of the semester. So at that point, the only way you can basically get out of that class is a withdrawal. So if you withdraw, it's going to be a W on your transcript, but it won't hurt your GPA. So later on in the semester, if you're thinking, you know what, I'm not going to pass this class, so I do want to protect my GPA, you can take a withdrawal, and that way you don't have an F that brings down your GPA. But like we talked about with financial aid, that will count against your completion rate. So if you are on financial aid, you definitely want to keep that in mind to avoid those W's and F's, so it doesn't hurt your completion rate. But there are definitely some instances where it could be a better option than having an F on your transcript, where it brings down your completion rate and your GPA. So definitely talk to an advisor about some guidance on if you want to withdraw a course. Then we have some prerequisites and co-requisites. So we talked about prerequisites already. Some programs require prerequisites to get into. So a really popular one is nursing. One of the prerequisites is Biology 201, and that requires a prerequisite of Biology 181. So it's just a class you need to take beforehand to gain some knowledge before you're ready for the next level of that class. So there'll be a lot of prerequisites you might notice in some of your degrees, and you can definitely talk to an advisor to help you out and get you sorted with all your prerequisites. We have co-requisites. That pretty much means for you to take a class at the same time as another. So you're taking them hand in hand. A lot of that knowledge goes together. So they want you to take those classes at the same time. Then we just have our semesters. So obviously fall and spring semesters are traditional semesters. And then we have our winter and summer sessions as well. So if you do want to add a couple extra classes over summer, maybe winter, to speed along your timeline, it's a great option. And that way you can keep registering for spring and fall and fill in the gaps in winter and summer as well. Then you have the catalog year. So the main thing with this is, if you're an incoming freshman, you're going to be following the 2020-2021 catalog year. So you just follow all the requirements, all the rules and regulations along that catalog year. So that's what you just want to be following. That's a year that you've become a student, and you're going to be following the area of study for that catalog year. And then lastly here, we do have Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act. So we talked about it earlier. You're all adults now. Some of you have been adults for a while, but you definitely have the right to privacy. So if your parents, mom or dad, call us asking, you know, how's my son, how's my daughter doing in this class, how's her grades, and they want to, you know, keep tabs on you, we can't release any of that information to them. So it's your right, it's your privacy, and it happens a lot, and we have to, you know, turn away some angry parents because, you know, everyone has their right to privacy. So there are some forms you can do if you're, you know, your parents are going to be on you and say, look, you know, I'm paying for this, or I want to know how you're doing. There are some waivers you can sign, and you give them the right for us to release that knowledge to them. So that's just something that you have the right to. We call it FERPA for short. So it's just your right to privacy. So planning for success, just some tips and tricks for you to be successful. A lot of you starting off with a clean slate. So we want you to start off on a strong foot, be successful. So some of that's going to include talking to your instructors when you're in class. Things are a little bit up in the air with in-person classes with the virus at the moment. But if we do get back to in-person classes, make sure you're just engaged, talking to your professors. And that goes for online as well. If you do have questions, feel free to email all your professors, communicate with them, and just be engaged. We have a great resource of the Success Center. So that has free tutoring for a number of different classes. If you need help, definitely get along to the Success Center. Even now with the virus, they're offering online free tutoring. So it's just a great resource. We encourage everyone to go, even if you're doing well, maybe earning B's in your classes, try to get along to the Success Center, and you can maybe bump those B's up to A's. If you're maybe earning a D, try to get to the Success Center, get you up to a passing grade. So they really do a good job over there, and it's free, so you can't really beat that. Just something important for college while you're all adults now and starting on your studies. time management is going to be really important. So you just definitely want to manage your time, get all your assignments in when you need to, and just make sure you're following deadlines. So, you know, some professors might be stricter than others. So you just want to avoid having those conversations about extensions, all that kind of stuff. So just really try and meet all your deadlines and manage your time. Textbooks, it's kind of an ugly cost that we, you know, really don't enjoy, but it is going to be a necessity with a lot of your classes. So if you do end up paying for a textbook, you might get some free textbooks in some certain classes, but just make sure you're reading all of the content, a lot of useful knowledge in there. It'll help you with all your homework and assignments. So just make sure you're really reading the textbook and getting the most out of that. So we definitely have some great resources at AWC. Take advantage of all these resources. We have some groups and clubs, I think, and Angelica might touch on some of these different groups we have that you can join in clubs that can set you up for even more academic success at AWC.
One of the resources that we have on campus for first-generation students, you are a first-generation student if your parents did not graduate with a college degree, specifically with a bachelor's degree. So if your parents do have an associate's degree, you would still be considered a first-generation student if they didn't have a bachelor's degree. So a great program for first-generation students is the KEYS program. The KEYS program is good because they graduate a lot of their students. So the regular rate that we graduate students generally is about 62 to 68%. But the KEYS program participants graduate at about an 80% graduation rate. So it's a lot higher. How come they do this? Well, they have a tutoring center right in their center. They also monitor the students pretty closely. So they want to make sure that students are doing the right thing and that they get the services right in time so that they're successful every semester until they graduate. The other program that we have is the YES program. It's brand new. It's for students who have graduated from a high school in the Yuma area. They do have a scholarship attached to it, about $1,500. I think it's per semester. Then they also want students to graduate and to transfer to a university. They provide additional services such as advisement and monitoring their progress. And the other program that we have is the CAMP. It is a residential program where you would be given the opportunity to live on campus. This CAMP program is for students who are migrants. And they also have great success in graduating students. I would recommend that you go to, if the opportunity opens up for us, that you would attend sporting events. We do have great volleyball program. We have a great soccer program for girls and men and women's softball. Did I say softball and did I say football? Or no, we no longer have football. I meant soccer. I'm thinking soccer instead for men and women. They do a great job. Amir is coaching the men's soccer as well. So do come. Basketball is great as well. We rank nationally, and we are very proud of our programs. And the other thing is to join a club. We have over 60 clubs. If we don't have the club that you are interested in, you can open a new charter for a club. We don't have a polo club, for example. If you're interested in that, yeah, go ahead and do your club. You just need three people to start the club. And make sure that you know that you're starting your career now. And we do have internship available for students and jobs available for students. It is interesting with COVID, but we usually have them available for students. So check Jobs for Matadors for jobs and also for internships. In the booklet, you will see the list of other campus resources that we have for students on page 13.
So you want to start thinking about creating your schedule and what's going to work for you, what suits you personally. So things to consider are going to be full-time or part-time. What works with you in terms of, are you working? Do you have family? What's going to work for you full-time or part-time? So if you're looking to finish right away within 2 years, you're looking at 15 plus credits per semester. So we did talk about winter and summer sessions being able to fill in a few gaps, but should be planning for 15 plus credits per semester to finish within 2 years and obtain your associate's degree. Some other things, what works for you? Do back-to-back classes work for you, or do you prefer them spread out over the day? Are you a morning person? We offer night classes. So we definitely have some flexibility in our scheduling. So you just need to think about what works for you and what's going to serve you best. You definitely want to create a realistic schedule. So like we've talked about, balancing your work if you're working part-time or full-time, family obligations, other activities you have. You just want to create a schedule that all comes together with the time management we've talked about, so you can just be successful and manage your time wisely. Studying is going to be important. A good formula we recommend students is for every 1 credit hour you take, you spend 2 hours of study at home. If you follow that formula, should be no reason why you can't be successful. Students who follow those guidelines do really well. So we try and encourage everyone to do so. So definitely take a course in your area of study. We talked about the financial aid implications of that, and you just want that to keep doing that so you can finish as fast as you can. If you do want to take something for personal enrichment, there's nothing wrong with that, but definitely just try to take a course in your area of study to get you finished within 2 years. So other things to consider here are just going to be C's or better are going to qualify for graduation. So those D's and F's, they're not going to be passing grades that get you graduating. So no-show is an important term as well to understand. So in an in-person classroom setting, that first week of class, you definitely want to be showing up. If you don't show up that first week of class, the professor can give you a no-show. It's going to count against your financial aid, count against your completion rate, and it's going to hurt you. So you definitely want to avoid those no-shows, and that can still happen with online. So online classes, especially now with the virus situation, you want to make sure you're logging into Canvas, participating in discussion board, just logging in, introducing yourself, making sure you're just reading the material, and just you're logged in. That first day of class is always the best way to do that. So we talked about drop and add week and withdraw. So it's just good to become familiar with those dates, just so you know exactly when those guidelines are, and then you don't have to worry about missing, and dropping a course and then having to think about withdrawals. But it's good to just know when those dates are happening, and you'll get all that sent out to your Toro email as well. So you'll get notified all those dates in advance. Definitely take care of your GPA. We want you to be successful. A lot easier to protect your GPA early on. And we talked about the financial implications of your GPA. So we do want to set you up for success and start off strong. We talked about, well, in-person and online classes. It's something to really think about now with the COVID-19 situation. So start thinking about what works for you. We might not have an option, potentially, depending how this all goes, but traditionally we have the different option of in-person or online. Some people, they really like online classes, especially a lot of more writing-based creative classes where you have to hand in a lot of papers, do a lot of writing. People like doing that in their own time, whereas a lot of these math, science classes in person, people seem to learn a lot better following formulas and learning with the professor, asking questions that way. So just think about what works for you and what's going to set you up for success.
Just an added note on the GPA, Phi Theta Kappa, which is an honor society. You don't have to be an honor student to be part of Phi Theta Kappa, but they do require a 3.5 GPA. And students who do get that 3.5 GPA, when they transfer to Northern Arizona University, NAU, they get a $4,000 scholarship. So that pays for quite a bit of tuition. Just the importance of the GPA. We have our portals and our from self-service. In self-service, we're going to cover in a little bit. That's the program that we use for you to register. Self-service will not only be used for registration, but it also keeps your important information such as your testing scores and your transcript. And the transcript that you would produce from self-service is unofficial. So if you ever needed to send it to someone or get a copy of it, will be considered unofficial. Canvas is our new learning system. It is opening up this summer, and most of your classes, if not all, will have access to Canvas. It is very convenient for our faculty and for students to keep our classrooms, our virtual classrooms in a program such as Canvas, in a system such as Canvas. So that's that. Play with it if you're able to. I would do YouTube videos online to how to use Canvas. Start early. We have the summer to work on that. And then the other program that we have is our Toro Mail. We utilize our official email only when working with students. So if you're sending us something that we need to work on from your Gmail or your Hotmail, we would ask that you communicate with us through Toro email instead. We would also have tools such as Outlook and PowerPoint and Excel and so forth, using our many services that we have for our students, online services. Your net ID and your passport is what you would use for all these online services. This is our self-service, the login page. This is the gist of the information. Please notice that in the login page, we have videos. And Julissa is going to give us a tour of how to use self-service. And but if you have watched these videos, I think you would get a better feel of how to use self-service in order to register. Go ahead, Julissa.
Okay, so I'll go ahead and I'll take you guys through, logging into self-service and checking out how to register for a class or two. So like Angelica was saying, we have those tutorial videos right here on the main screen, and they're about 4 minutes long each. They're, not very long at all, so you can sit through them, watch them, and you can, if you forgot how to do something or you're not sure about something, at least you have those videos to use as a tutorial. You can pause it as you're going through it just to see, make sure you really understand how to go ahead and register for your classes. So like Angelica said, you will go in and you will log in with your net ID and password. So let me do that. Okay, so once you're logged in, it will look something like this. Over here with student finance, this is where you can see how much you guys have, your payments for your tuition, setting up payment plans, financial aid. You can access your forms and your award letters to see if you've been awarded your financial aid yet. Check your grades. When it comes time to graduate, you can check over here to apply. When you're doing your taxes and you need any forms showing your verification that you went to school this semester or this year, you can find that here. Our course catalog is right here. But in order for you guys to go ahead and get started and look at planning your courses, you'll go ahead and go to student planning. So you'll see there's, 2 areas, view your progress and plan your schedule. If you look right here, this will be if you chose a major that you were interested in when you were applying for AWC, it'll come right here. And then once you guys do have your classes planned out, your schedule will show up right here as well. So right now, I'm going to go ahead and just show you quickly the view my progress. So this will have, that same like degree sheet that we looked at over here, like say the nursing one, a degree sheet like this, it's also going to be in self-service under the My Progress. So you'll see the name of the degree sheet and you'll see how many credits you either have planned, they'll be in yellow. If you have classes that you're registered for, those will be in green. And then you can see this in here is really the same check sheet that you guys saw on the other page, but this is just a digital version for you guys to keep track of. You know, keep in mind stuff like this is you do not have to take all of these math classes. It says, you know, complete the following course. You choose one. You know, for English, choose these two. You can always, you know, hide areas so they go a little smaller as you're scrolling through. Same for like the arts and humanities for this program. Complete 3 credits, so you know, complete one course from the arts list and one course. So don't, you know, freak out when you see all these courses that don't say they're not started. It's just your options of what you can take. So you can either go to start planning from here with the student planning, or if you were just back at the home page like I showed you before and you did student planning, you would go right here to plan and schedule. Let me see. All right, so for summer, you'll see there's no classes that are planned or anything like that, but for fall, I do have some courses planned already. There's a section planned actually as well, but I'll go ahead and get out of that. You know, let's say you guys were going to look for an, let me see, a math class. And let's say we were going to register for a Math 151 course. You can search the course right up here. And when you search it, it will, you know, filter it out. And you can do add to course plans. And right here, it will show you, you know, the location. Since this isn't like a specific section, it just says to be determined. It's really just the course. It'll tell you the prerequisite, and then you can just simply add the course to whatever term you're planning to take the class. So let's say I was in fall 2020, add to course plans. So if I go back to plan and schedule, you will see now, let me go to fall. For the math class, it's right over here. You can see the other sections. So you can see, you know, the different sections of when the course is offered, you know, in person, online, you know, Yuma campus, Somerton, Parker, San Luis. You can see it all from here. There's 3 pages. One of the best ways to, you know, go ahead and search for your classes is utilize this filter section right here. So when you do that, you can check, you know, if it's an open class, make sure there's no any waitlist classes pulling up. You can choose the location. Like if you want to do online, like let's say we want to do a Yuma campus, and you can choose days of the week, and you'll see as I do the filters, it will update right here as well. If there's an instructor, you know, you've talked with your friends and they recommend they've already taken a math with someone, you can go ahead and choose an instructor that you want to take the course with. If you have someone in mind, you can, and if you know you don't have any instructors in mind, you just know, hey, I want to do it at the Yuma campus, and let's say I already had these other 2 classes planned, you'll see once you start looking at the classes, let me pull this up, right here, it will highlight on this area what section the class is that I'm looking at. So you'll see right here, okay, can't take this one. There's a conflict with that FAS 160 course. So you can just kind of look, let's say this one. I was like, okay, it's right after that FAS 160 course. The professor is like Brian, it would be every day. Let's say, okay, I will take this one. You would click on the course. It'll show you the instructor information, the meeting information, when it runs. You know, we have our sessions that are 8-week, 12-week, and 16-week during the fall and spring semester. So you can see this class would be 16 weeks because it's from August to December. There's 22 seats available out of 24. It's a 4-credit class. Right here it says the prerequisite is Math 121. And it also says for additional information, it says what type of calculator is needed. Keep this area of additional information in mind as well when you guys are looking at certain science courses, because there will be some courses that are specifically, you know, for science majors or, you know, like honor students, KEYS program. So keep that in mind, because if you get a section that you're trying to register for and it's not letting you, you don't understand why. Take a look at that additional information, because a lot of times it's just going to be something as simple as it was a honor section or T section or something like that. So just keep that in mind. So let's say this class looks good. I'll add it to the schedule. All right, and so it's been planned. So I have it planned out. And another thing to keep in mind when you guys are signing up for online classes, if you want to see it, on your schedule, right here, it will show on the bottom, and it'll say there's no classes with no like meeting time since it's online. These classes, there's no issues with that. And then right here, you'll see if you had a class that was interfering, like the section, it overlapped with the time here. That class, when you have it planned, it'll show the class in red instead of yellow, meaning there's a conflict. So if you wanted to go ahead and register for the classes, let's say I was to go ahead and start off by registering for my English class, I would go ahead and hit register, and it's going to update. And then it says a payment's required. As of right now, you won't need any payments until June 9th, I believe is the date, and I'll double check that for you guys. So just you have until then to make sure you have your financial aid taken care of, any payment plan set up, so you won't get dropped from the course. So you'll see now it says the class is registered, but it's not started, and you'll see it changes from yellow to now green, showing that you are registered for the course. Another thing for you guys to notice, you'll see this advising tab right here. This is an area where you can always write a note and it will be sent to the advising office for you, and then an advisor would get in contact with you. You can also see the note history in case, your advisor has left a note for you or you guys met and they left a note. That note history will always be there for you guys as well. Is there anything else, Angelica or Admir, that you'd like to add to this?
Just a warning with the English 101, there are some English 101s that are required to be taken as a combo with English 100s. And they're usually the beginning courses in what you see, like English 101 001, English 101 002. If you can't register for them, it's because they may have a combo attached to it. You either need to take them with the English 100 along with the 101. That has caused some frustrations for some students, so I just wanted to capitalize on that as well.
Thank you. Do you guys have any questions about this or anything specific, either pertaining to this or anything else that we've gone over? You guys can always leave your questions in the comments if you don't feel like unmuting yourself and speaking as well. So.
Some of you may say, well, when am I taking the first semester? We do say that if you want to graduate in 2 years, you need to take about 5 classes per semester or 10 classes in a year in order to graduate in 2 years with the associate's degree. So what would you take? You would want to take an English class, a math class, and remember you can self-assess. And you can choose the class that you feel that it's most appropriate for you. You don't want to take a class that's way too hard or a class that's way too easy for you. And so after taking your math in English, you can go ahead and do 1 or 2 classes within your major. If you are, for example, an administration of justice major, we'll take 2 administration of justice classes. And you may want to do a social science or humanities or a lab science. So those are some ideas. And remember that for every credit hour, you need to study 2 hours a week. So if you're doing 12 credit hours, we're asking that you study about 24 hours a week. At this point, we have completed the PowerPoint. We would encourage you to do a post-evaluation for us, give us feedback how well we did and how we can improve. We encourage you to continue exploring Arizona Western College, especially on campus. It is going to be new to Arizona Western and of course to you as well. Watch some videos how to use Canvas. Instructors will make their course available that first day of class, if not earlier. And if for any reason your instructor or you don't see your class on Canvas, please let us know. You can contact Distance Education to find out your status and why it's not, your name or your classes are not popping out on Canvas. If you're undecided, continue to explore your career options under advisement services. It's normal for people to change their major, so we do feel that it is an important website for all of our students. And plan your full 2 years in self-service if you can. Set up an appointment with an advisor so we can help you with that with that plan. It's kind of nice that you can see what classes you're going to be taking a semester at a time. You can also register for fall semester, but you can also pick your schedule for spring semester and summer of 2021. And we're trying to publish our schedules ahead of time so that students have an idea what their following semester is going to look like. We said before that it's one of the advisors is going to contact you via email to make sure that you're all set and ready to go. And if you have questions, they'll answer those questions. That would happen on Monday and Tuesday. But you can also set up an appointment with an advisor under our advisement website. If you have any questions, this is a time to ask those questions. Go ahead and unmute yourself and ask questions. There's no wrong questions. There's no dumb questions. Actually, if you have one, students will benefit from